Good afternoon, everybody. We'll wait for a couple more participants to get in here. We'll get started. All right, I think we'll get going in the interest of time, and I'll go through the presentation here and leave some time at the end for questions if people have some. I appreciate the opportunity to be here to speak on behalf of the Canadian Council of Directors of Apprenticeship, and I look forward to maybe some interaction with some people after we look at the presentation that we have today. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen so that everybody can see the presentation. All right, hoping everybody can see that. We're good to go. So again, welcome everybody. My name is Michael Barnett. I am the Director of Apprenticeship for the province of New Brunswick. I'm also the current sitting chair of the Canadian Council of Directors of Apprenticeship. I'm pleased to be here today to go over work and priorities of the CCDA. The Red Seal program was established in 1952 in an effort to provide greater mobility across Canada for skilled tradespeople. Even with some provinces making changes to legislation, removing the requirement for a Red Seal to work in the skilled trades, the Red Seal endorsement continues to be standard of excellence and a preference for many employers when hiring. The Red Seal sets common standards to assess the skills of tradespeople across the country. Each province or territory is responsible for apprenticeship training and issuing the apprenticeship certificate of completion. The Red Seal is an endorsement for those who successfully complete standardized training. And the Red Seal exam, most provinces and territories are actually using this exam as a final step towards completion and certification. As of December last year, more than 770,000 Red Seal endorsements have been issued. Here you can see some apprenticeship participation statistics. As you're probably aware, the electrical trades make up the largest portion of trades people in Canada. So when I talk to you about electrical trades and the Red Seal program, it's a significant number of people who rely on our products. As for certifications issued, at just under 140,000 certificates, construction electrician has had the most Red Seals issued since the implementation of the program. Industrial electricians sit at just under 20,000, power line technicians just over 9, and industrial instrumentation and control technicians at just under 11. But who are the CCDA? The Canadian Council of Directors of Apprenticeship is a voluntary partnership consisting of provincial and territorial representatives who are responsible for apprenticeship in their respective jurisdictions. The partnership also includes 2 representatives from the federal government. We're a voluntary partnership and we work to manage and operationalize the Red Seal program and are responsible for the management and the delivery of the Red Seal products. We work towards collaboration and develop best practices and knowledge on issues that are key to the success of apprenticeship programs within our provinces and in implementing the Red Seal program. Throughout all of this work, we partner with industry. Industry plays a crucial role in ensuring the Red Seal program remains relevant and effective. Without industry, we would not have the robust system we have developed to date. CCDA's priorities since 2017 have been the harmonization of Red Seal trades, implementation of enhanced standards in product development, improving the knowledge base on apprenticeship, and strengthening CCDA's leadership role. For a closer look on harmonization, it's important to note that it started in 2014 when the Forum of Labour Market Ministers set objectives to harmonize a total of 30 Red Seal trades by 2020, which would impact over 90% of apprentices, and to create greater integration between harmonization and overall CCDA initiatives. To accomplish this, the plan was originally broken into 5 phases. We're now up to 7, and each phase was given an implementation date. Early phases were assigned largely, but not exclusively, on trade size. For the electrical trades, both construction and industrial electrician were harmonized in phase 2 of the program. Power line technician was harmonized as part of phase 5, with training having been harmonized in most jurisdictions. Instrumentation control technician is currently being harmonized in phase 6 with the goal of implementing the changes by September of 2021. All electrical trades are in various phases of implementation across the country. For the Red Seal trades, 32 have been harmonized to date, and that's impacting over 95% of all apprentices in the country. While phase 6 and 7 are scheduled to be completed by September 21 and September of 22 respectively. In Ontario, consultations with industry partners on harmonization have been led by the Ontario College of Trades. Despite governance changes that are taking place with apprenticeship in Ontario, the province remains supportive of the principle of harmonization and endorses any effort that enhances the quality of apprenticeship and mobility of apprentices. Ontario aligns with harmonization where possible. Also of note, the government of Quebec, who don't currently have the Red Seal or don't participate, is currently participating in the harmonization project as an observer. So what does harmonization mean specifically? Well, the goal of harmonization is to substantively align apprenticeship systems across Canada by making apprenticeship training requirements more consistent in the Red Seal trades. Harmonization focuses on 4 areas. 1, using a common Red Seal name. 2, using a consistent total of training hours when combining both in-school and on-the-job training. 3, using the same number of training levels or periods within a trade. And 4, using a consistent sequencing during technical training so that an apprentice is taught the same thing in level 2, whether they do that training in British Columbia or New Brunswick. While skilled workers, or those who have already achieved certification, are able to move across the country for work, the harmonization project better allows mobility of apprentices. So hours worked or school completed in another jurisdiction can be used towards certification in the apprentice's home jurisdiction. We hope this supports an increase in completion and enables employers to utilize their apprentices across the country more easily. As we have mentioned in the previous phase of this initiative, harmonization aims to improve the mobility of apprentices, support increased completion rates, and enable employers to access a larger pool of apprentices. For a little more information on the electrical trades since harmonization, it's important to know that NETCO and other members represented here through the CCDA and the IBW have consistently sent participants to the harmonization workshops. This was important to accomplish the 5 key steps to harmonization, including development of a new Red Seal occupational standard where warranted. Research and analysis was conducted to develop proposed recommendations for harmonized training. Then consultations were held with industry and training providers from across the country on those proposed recommendations. After that, occupational standards development allowed individual stakeholders, including those from NETCO, to provide input on the validation and content review of the draft standard. Webinars were then held to identify areas of consensus and work through any differences that were identified. And then we established an implementation plan, and once approved, tracked that implementation in each jurisdiction and noted if there were any exceptions. As mentioned, the electrical trades through harmonization process have all gone through the harmonization process. Most of the changes have been implemented in all jurisdictions. The sequencing of training for power line technician is still underway for a few jurisdictions, but they are all working to complete this. Instrumentation and control technician, as mentioned before, will be implemented for level 1 starting this coming September. Maintaining harmonization will be a priority when working on standards development as we move forward and has become part of the CCDA's regular business. None of this happens without dedicated industry representatives such as yourselves. I recognize that many of the trade boards have already been involved in the harmonization process, and the success we've been experiencing with this initiative so far wouldn't be possible without your input and support. So thank you. All the jurisdictions across Canada greatly appreciate your participation in the harmonization process. The second priority of the CCDA is to implement enhanced standards and introduce efficiencies in product development. Key to this priority is the implementation of the Red Seal occupational standard. The standard that is developed for each trade is the document that organizes the tasks, skills, and knowledge expected of a journey person. Each trade has a standard developed. However, there is ongoing and continuous improvement cycles that happen after the standard is originally developed. This ensures that the Red Seal and its products remain current and up to date and responsive to industry's needs. Much work has been done to improve the process so as to achieve the best possible standard. In 2015, again in collaboration with NETCO, the new format of the standard was introduced. This new RSOS replaces the National Occupational Analysis. The RSOS includes new elements such as learning objectives, outcomes, and ranges of variables. A broader representation of expertise is sought during the development phase, including information from tradespeople, employers, and instructors from different apprenticeship programs across the country. This helps to ensure greater consistency for both in-class and on-the-job training across the country, and that the standard is better aligned with leading practices and captures industry's expectations of journey persons. All trades will benefit from the new Red Seal occupational standards. This new standard will have the capacity to generate a suite of new and innovative Red Seal products targeted to different users, such as logbooks, on-the-job training guides, and trade profiles. The intent of these products is to create better and more valuable tools that can be used across the country. Because so much work goes into standards development, it's important that this work is protected. Because they carry the highest volumes, the electrical trades are often most targeted by exam compromises. To mitigate and prevent exam compromises and maintain the integrity of the Red Seal, there are a number of measures that we are taking. We continue to be vigilant to protect the Red Seal exams. We continue to look for any anomalies in exam results. We continue to review the results regularly. We share best practices across the country with respect to exam invigilation. And there are sanctions that can be enforced, including suspension or cancellation of certifications and dismissal of apprenticeship professionals who enable cheating. And last, we communicate with stakeholders the seriousness of exam compromises and the need for integrity to maintain public safety and value of certification. So what makes up a Red Seal occupational standard? Here's an example of the construction electrician contents. You can see how the scope of the trade is divided in major work activities, A through E. The work activities are each outlined in the standard with specific tasks you can see on the right. Once identified, they are then used to determine how much of the Red Seal exam should be dedicated to each major work activity, as you can see on the left. These standards form the basis of most of our work, from defining the scope of the trade to developing the exams and to harmonizing the curriculum. So it's important that we keep them up to date. Once developed, the Red Seal occupational standards are available on the Red Seal website for the public consumption. To date, we have 28 trades that have been moved to our RSOS, including the 4 electrical Red Seal trades. In fact, construction and industrial electrician have already come up for review, and we are currently in the process of revising them. This time around, we added an additional survey step in the development process, allowing more industry experts from across the country to provide feedback on development. Netco again played a huge role in getting that survey out to stakeholders, which is crucial in validating the content. We received a great response from the Netco stakeholders, and it was very helpful feedback in the development process. The remaining 2 priorities of the CCDA are improving the knowledge base and strengthening the CCDA's leadership role. For the knowledge base, the CCDA continues to look at what the best practices are that are out there that improve apprenticeship training and delivery, especially for underrepresented groups like women, Indigenous, New Canadians, persons with disabilities, and youth, who sometimes face barriers when looking to get into traditionally male-dominated occupations. We are currently compiling some of the great initiatives that are ongoing across the country in hopes that we can share where we succeed and where we haven't to learn from each other as we look to grow the number of skilled tradespeople in our country. Attracting and retaining people in the trades continues to challenge all of us. So better understanding the opportunities within the labor markets across the country and understanding how apprentices move about within their apprenticeship programs will help us all in the delivery of that apprenticeship training. Research is a key to helping understand the decisions made by all the program participants. As for the leadership role, the CCDA is vital in directing the Red Seal program to keep abreast with various changes, whether that be industry practices or economic development and expansion, or even introduction of new technology. It's important we continue to lead with our many partners to ensure that we are positioned to support all the provinces, territories in Canada with the best trained, skilled tradespeople. A final priority for the CCDA is to improve the information readily available about the Red Seal. A recent study and focus group conducted on the Red Seal website has shown some gaps in the information available to apprentices that is needed to help support them in their apprenticeship journey. Resources to help candidates better prepare for the Red Seal exam are currently being prepared, and construction electrician will be one of the first ones out the gate with some of these new tools. From feedback received, we are also working to improve navigation when looking for information about Red Seal trades and to make the links more intuitive. Lastly, we have a goal to make the entire site more mobile friendly. So that's just a quick little presentation on the priorities that we have at CCDA and what we've been working on over the last couple of years. I guess at this time, I'd welcome if anybody has any comments or questions or insights, want to get involved, want to give us your name. We'll follow the chat feed that's there. So if anybody has anything they'd like to let us know, please feel free to post your questions in the chat. Again, happy to be here. Great to have this opportunity to provide this information to you. So thank you very much. Can I tell you a little bit about the Secretariat office? So the Secretariat, thanks for that question, Melissa. The Secretariat office, of course, was housed at the federal government level for the longest time. Recently, they went out to the jurisdictions to see if there was a jurisdiction that might be willing to take on the role of a lot of the coordination that the Secretariat does. And the province of Alberta had accepted to take on that Secretariat function. I do want to let everybody know that it's not the Secretariat that is that's doing the Red Seal product development. It is done as part of the collaboration with the entities across the country. But since moving to Alberta, the group has done a great job in providing that coordination function. They keep me honest. They're the ones who helped to create the presentation for today. So we're very happy to have them doing the work that they're doing. Last slide. Oh, you want to see the put the last slide up here? So this is these were the phases. I'll share my screen again. This one here, share. I think that was the screen people were looking for. Yeah, George, so is there a date when the training from province to province will become harmonized? There is. We have that as part of the implementation plan, and you can see with the slide that's up that you can see the different trades there and what phases they were in. If there are specific trades that you're looking or a specific province that you were looking at, I can dig a little more into, or if you want to give me your contact information, we can get you specific dates in the provinces that are there. All of the trades are in various stages of implementation, depending on level in each of the jurisdictions. So if you do have a specific, okay, so you want Ontario. So what I'll do, George, is I'll get the information from Ontario to find out exactly which levels have been implemented in the electrical trades, and I'll get that information back to you. I'm sure Melissa Netco must have George's contact information there, so we'll be certain to follow up with that. Yeah, I guess that kind of goes along with the question: how is Ontario doing with harmonization for electrical? Again, I mentioned before with OCOT and the wind down of OCOT, they're still participating. They did have some barriers in the beginning with respect to how they would implement, but they were definitely big participants in creating the standards and what would be trained, how many levels there would be, how many hours would be, all that kind of stuff. So they're definitely on board with that. They're just going through the regulatory and legislation changes that they would need to make, and working with industry in their own province to figure out the best timing for moving to that harmonization role with the electrical trades. All right, any final questions from anybody? All right, great. A little bit early, but again, I'll thank everybody for their time, and look forward to maybe hopefully doing this face-to-face again sometime, and get somewhere else in the country, and instead of doing it from our basements in our offices. So again, as mentioned by the other participants that are here, thanks for the opportunity to be here today. As always, everybody stay safe, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you very much.